She said that American soccer fans, most of them aren't smart. They don't know the game. They don't understand.
Gio.
That guy gazpacho.
Forbes can take a lame gorilla, okay?
Right, did you know that Arsenal died?
He's got me buzzing.
Up the TOFFEEs. It's hard to up them anyway.
I'm not even gonna comment on that. Welcome into Footy with the boys. A hell of an episode. A lot happened this weekend for both Arsenal and Everton, so we'll have some amazing segments around them. Some pretty big matchups for both teams. City versus Arsenal, obviously taking the headlines of the entire league. Do a little 20 questions with the boys. Follow along with us. See if you can guess them before. Lock of the week, as always. And ending with the U.S. men's national team corner. We got quite a lot of news. But of course, the biggest news is Mr. Neymar on the screen here, going back to Santos, mutually terminating his contract with Al Hilal. Turned down $65 million still on that contract to go back to his boyhood club for free. Yeah, you love to see it in this day and age. What you don't like to see is Marcus Rashford at his boyhood club holding bench for Ruben Amorim. Mike, is there any coming back for Rashford? I feel like we've seen so much of him having purple patches that look like he is ready to break through, be a star, and I don't know if it's been any lower than it has been at this point.
Dude, I don't even think he's making bench. I think he's being left off the matchday squad. That's how bad it is.
Yeah. Park bench?
Nah, his career is over at Man U.
Bench is crazy.
Park bench is crazy, dude. Yeah, he's not playing under Amorim. I don't think he's going to fit the system at all. He would have to play the target man. We've seen him do that before. It's not a good position for him. Doesn't play to any of his strengths. And he's not good enough to play either of the attacking midfielder positions either. He has to go somewhere else to have a resurgence, if that's even possible. But this dip is massive. It's really long. I'm worried that he'll just fucking flame out.
Pause. Hold on. What are we talking about? Back in Tom's lab.
I got
Listen,
distracted.
at the very least, it's like if Rashford doesn't fit, fine. If he's feeling like a prick, I believe it, whatever. At the very least, this is horrible asset management by Man U. Just put the guy on your bench, give him 15 minutes, maybe he scores a wonder goal, and because right now, I mean, his transfer value has never been lower, right? So the more he is not even involved in the matchday squad, I like that it's a statement, but so that's probably more important. Amorim being able to really make a statement, and obviously Man U are flush with cash, so I guess they're not worried about that. But purely from an asset management point of view, it's a tough look.
I mean, I don't get it from a Man U's not doing amazing. It's not like Ruben Amorim came in, bench Rashford, and they're doing amazing and they're flying. They're still shit. They're still doing horrible. Look at them. I mean, it's not like something's working amazingly. Yeah, I guess, but like, it's not like Ruben Amorim has some amazing system. It's like, wow, he's put Rashford to the side and everything's working. It's like, you can still have him in there. I get, there's different things, and maybe he's not good for locker room chemistry, whatever, but it seems like these coaches that make these gigantic statements and make these just dropping players that have such big names, have such influence on the teams, it never works out. Like Jadon Sancho being dropped, and that the whole big headlines with that, how Eric Ten Hag was asked about it nonstop. You look over at like Milan, and they had Fonseca, who's constantly dropped Leao and Theo Hernandez. It's like that went horribly for him. I don't like the managers dropping big name players completely type move, trying to be like, oh, I'm the manager, I have so much power, and
Arteta.
I think it's a weird.
Arteta did it to Ozil and Aubameyang, so I mean it's worked out for him,
Yeah, different levels here, Ruben Amorim.
I'm sorry. Yes, I mean, early returns look that way, but like at this point in their careers and the point that Ozil and Aubameyang were at, I would say they're pretty comparable with what Rashford is. So, at least some comparables. I would say Leao and Theo Hernandez are much more talented right now than Rashford is, or just better.
Yeah,
about talented. So, but yeah, no, that's fair.
A mess.
So you think it's more ego then on Amorim's part?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not in there, so I can't say, but if it's not, he's a locker room cancer and ruining everything if he is in there. There's so many players in there that play like shit. You can have your big name one that doesn't create a headline for leaving him out of the squad. Like,
Future of Argentina.
I don't know. Future Argentina is keeping
A lot
him
of
out.
transfer rumors around him, dude.
Yeah, dude. Chelsea,
honestly, a lot. Yeah.
Chelsea, Napoli, like every club wants him, but they don't want to pay 70
Who
mil.
wouldn't? Who wouldn't
Yeah.
want him?
For real? I want
There's,
him.
there's a lot of players going out of Chelsea
Messier.
right now.
Cold soup,
Messier.
baby.
Messier. Going to the other side of Manchester and going back to Milan here. Kyle Walker making his January transfer to AC Milan. They had Emerson Royale as their big right back signing of the summer.
Huge.
Realized very quickly what everybody knew going in,
forgot about
that
that.
he's not a good right back.
Played for
And
Barcelona.
so they
by the
go
way.
with Kyle Walker here. Yeah, man, he is just an enigma of how he keeps getting these big moves. But now he has Kyle Walker in front of him, at least on loan here. A little bit too late, I think, for AC Milan. They're like 25 points off the lead. They're like 8 points off of even Champions League. And they just now realized, hey, our defense is shit when it's been shit the last 2 years. I mean, good for AC Milan. I guess this helps them down the stretch. But what do you guys make of this Kyle Walker move from Man City's side of him wanting out of what's going on and into AC Milan, who desperately needed this?
I mean, he's been looking not great this year. I don't think he's at the level of Man City anymore. I honestly thought he dropped off a bit last year, but winning covers all issues. So, and for Milan, I think it works well. Serie A has a slower paced league less intense league than the Prem, and so I think he'll be pretty dominant there, at least physically. But to Emerson Royale's credit, by the way, he won a title with Tottenham in November last year. So, shout out to the champions of the first 6 weeks of the year.
Ange, he sold us on a dream. I was like, Kyle Walker's, he's not getting benched ever.
No.
Emerson Royale is not taking this spot back. It has been
neither is
yanked away
Calabria.
from him.
Yep.
No. Yeah, neither of those guys are getting close to this. But speaking of Tottenham, that's another big news. Tottenham is 1 point ahead of Everton in the table. 1 point.
Yikes.
As much as we have been talking about how bad Everton have been this season, how many points we've left on the table, Tottenham are 1 point above, and Everton, we'll talk about it. They're going to be playing Leicester this weekend. That's pretty winnable. Tottenham, who are they playing this weekend? I mean, fuck, if it's not easy, I don't know if there is easy for them anymore. It's Brentford. Well, they're fucked. I mean,
Yeah.
I almost picked Brentford in my lock of the week.
Brentford at Brentford, yeah.
Everton could be above Tottenham. And what the fuck is going on? Why is Ange Postecoglou still there? Oh my God. Sean Dyche was out at Everton.
Sounds
And
honestly like Spurs could have used David Moyes, if we're being honest.
They could.
Honestly.
Honestly.
Well, I
They
mean,
need to
he's
fire
gone, right?
Daniel
God.
Levy. Daniel Levy
True.
needs to be gone as well. I
True.
mean, that's holding them back hugely. I mean, they've gone through like 13 managers in the time he's been their GM president. So you got to make a change there.
They
And
need to-
done, though. Like this team they're losing to Leicester. Leicester's not good. Tottenham, they got shit on this game. Richarlison's back though.
Someone clip Mike saying Leicester's not good just in case this weekend. Let's see what happens. But listen, what Tottenham actually need is a complete rebrand, bro. They need to leave London. They need to find a different city. They need a new club crest. They need a new jersey. Everything has to be completely different because the stink on that club is awful. And again, Ange sold us on a dream, like Flag said, and to see where they are now, I mean, the highs might have been there with him, but it's never been even this low for Tottenham in the recent history of their shit clubs. So if they all of a sudden find themselves in a relegation scrap, oh my God, that'd be music to my ears.
Yeah, I mean, they have previous managers, Jose Mourinho, who's second in the Turkish Super League, Antonio Conte, who has brought Napoli to top of the Serie A, and Nuno Espirito Santos with Nottingham Forest doing God's work with that team. Although we did may have jinxed them quite a bit this weekend, but let's sorry about that, Cody. My bad. But I mean, damn, Tottenham
and Maurizio Pochettino, U.S.
around.
men's national team
And
flag.
Pochettino, yeah. We'll talk about the U.S. and how they're looking under Pochettino in the January camp. Damn, they are. Every manager that's not at Tottenham looks amazing. Every manager that's at Tottenham, not amazing. It's
let's not turn this into a Poch fest. Let's keep it moving.
Let's keep it moving. Let's go to the Gunners, and Nick. There's quite a bit to talk about. Wolves and Arsenal referees are licking their lips to make themselves part of the game here. A red card early for Arsenal on Miles Lewis-Skelly. Left him at 10 men. Luckily, Wolves, they said, no, we are too shit. We are also going to go down to 10 men. And that then allowed Calafiori to get a winner 1-0 in this one. Bring us through your thought process throughout this game because, man, just from texting emotional highs and lows of this game, something else.
Yeah. I mean, early on, it was same old, same old. Havertz missed a header from a great ball from Trossard. It was a solid save, but he kind of headed it right at him. There was another couple of half chances that they definitely could have put away. So going towards the end of the first half, it was very much of, oh my God, are we really going to do this again and keep fluffing our lines? And then we went back to early season and the drama that has been referees versus Arsenal this year, because this Miles Lewis-Skelly red card might be the worst of the bunch. Obviously, the Declan Rice slightly tapping a ball after getting kicked in the back of the leg was one thing. The Leo Trossard trying to play a ball and the ref saying there was already a whistle and suddenly getting a red card versus City, no less, was another thing. There was a lot of interesting calls this year. This one was by far the worst. The beginning of a transition moment outside of their own 18. Miles Lewis-Skelly trips a player up completely. People are trying to gaslight me right now, saying that he went studs up and went down on his shin. This was just a trip. His studs might have caught him a little bit, but he did not go studs up into a tackle. It is insane. Players behind the ball. The guy's breaking from his own 18, and we get a straight red card. I would say it's a solid yellow. To ever consider that being a red card is absolutely ridiculous. From there, the Twitter figures were burning. It was fuck. I texted in our group chat that we should not come out for the second half of this game just to protest the bullshit that we have been seeing. Michael Oliver's a complete rat, but like they say, winning cures all. And I thought we looked fine. I mean, I didn't think we were gonna win, but I thought we could hold on for a draw, down 1 man. Of course, their midfielder, João Gomes, I believe is his name. He takes a red card. Good player. Second yellow on a way worse tackle than Miles Lewis-Skelly. Only got a yellow, by the way. Probably could have been a red if we're being honest. But he gets the second yellow. Anyways, he's gone, and from there, Arsenal really pushing. Shout out Richie Calafiori. Loves himself a big goal. We remember the one against City. This one was also just right place, right time, and he might be our best finisher. Who knows? From our left center back position, but just put it in the bottom corner of the net. Beautiful there. And 1-0 to the Arsenal. What a historic and sweet saying there. So at the end of the day, 3 points is 3 points, but serious investigations have to be done in the Premier League. At a certain point, you're either corrupt or you're incompetent, and I don't know which one is worse, or at the very least biased, and that will fall into corrupt as well. So I mean, at some point, we're going to get a book, an expose, or something that highlights what has been going on in the Man City era, in the oil era of the Premier League football. And I can't wait to read it and feel vindicated, but now it's just a whole lot of frustration. An important 3 points going up with City in the next weekend, which we'll talk about later. But, most of the errors with the team are still there, I would say. I would say it's still the same team we've been seeing, but definitely a lot of mental fortitude. I still believe we have the mentality of champions. We're just, I don't think we have the squad of champions at the moment. So we'll take the 3 points. Big game against City this weekend, and we'll move from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think early in the season you see these games not end in a 1-0 win. They don't take the 3 points. I mean, we've seen kind of those reffing decisions that are batshit. As you said, this was
One might have been the
awful.
worst.
I mean,
it
every
was
camera angle
bad.
shows the defenders right around. I don't understand really the justification for it. I don't think anybody's made that much of a case saying, yeah, no, it should be. I think
It was a
Pierre Wolf's
instant
thinking,
red
all
card
right.
too. He couldn't get that card out of his
Yeah.
pocket fast enough. I don't understand how that's an
insane.
immediate decision. And then what is the point of VAR if they can't?
What is the point of
overturn something
VAR?
like that? They never overturn the
no
call on the
point.
field. They're just yes men. They always back
Yeah.
whatever the on-field decision is. So it's really pointless.
Yeah. I mean, it is just crazy how many of these things we've had talking about Arsenal this season. I don't know. Is there something there? Maybe. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but holy
Something's
shit, the
gonna come
amount of
up, bro.
calls that have gone against Arsenal this season, it was like a lot at the start, really packed together. This coming out again is holy shit, man. It is tough. If you're an Arsenal fan, you have every right to be upset at refs and not trust them. But they come out on top. Like I said, don't think they do that at different points in the season. They did come out on top. Is that promising going into City here, Nick, at all? You feeling like, okay, you know what? Dealt with some adversity. Now we're going into a big game. Is that an up before a big game?
Yeah, I mean it's something for sure. You lose Skelly for the game, which is important, but hopefully Richie's rounding back into form. He just got back from injury himself for the second time this season. It really is the same old story. It's this year. It's been injuries and it's been some pretty tough decisions going against our way, but mostly it's been the injuries because that's really depleted our squad and probably the lack of a signing of an attacker over the summer. So it definitely helps you feel confident. If I'm being honest, I feel like we've seen the City game enough to know that it's going to be one of those tactical, chess matches between Pep and Arteta. City's been poor, so that gives you confidence too, but we haven't been amazing. So if you ask me right now, I'd call it like a 1-1 draw, but it's definitely showing that we can push back some mental blockades or some difficulties there. So if something like that comes up, which I'm sure it will in a big game against City, then we have the right stuff to get past it. But at the end of the day, I think I feel pretty confident about what this game is going to look like versus City.
Yeah, it'll be definitely a massive matchup in terms of top of the table, in terms of form, in terms of what the rest of the season will look like for both those teams. Like Nick said, we'll get a little bit more into the weeds of that. But first, Mike, Everton has won 2 games in a row. David Moyes' era is here against Brighton here. So it's been Brighton and Tottenham. I know obviously Tottenham, we've talked about how shit they are this season, but 2 talented squads that Everton has won here against. And when we're thinking about the first 3 games of Moyes with Aston Villa, Tottenham, and Brighton, I thought, it's going to be a tough sledding to start. Just hopefully he can get his system in and we can see the hope of what it's looking like. Well, the hope is fucking there, baby. The Toffees, 6 points out of those 3 games. Them an NDI with a beautiful celebration, mocking a seagull, which is somehow a yellow card. And Phil Foden's fucking sniper isn't anything. Whatever. But I mean, a win first half. We looked like that wasn't Everton. We looked amazing. Second half, we were just kind of sat back a bit, just trying to hang on there. Put a lot of defenders in there. Yeah. But Mike, I mean, what's changed? Because it's not like we talked about new ownership coming in, bringing in players and doing all these crazy things to get results. Moyes has come in and gotten results with really everything that Deitch had at his disposal.
Yeah, everything that Deitch had at his disposal. It's not changed at all. It's actually gotten slimmer with the injuries that have creeped up the last couple of weeks. So David Moyes is even doing more to maximize this limited roster, which is impressive. Broja obviously lost to injury. We'll see if he ever plays for Everton again. Seems like he might go back to Chelsea. And then Dominic Calvert-Lewin got injured almost immediately in this game. I think the 13th minute he came down with a hamstring injury, gets carted off. So we're down to our last available striker. excuse me, Beto.
Strico, Beto, our
Strico, Beto, alliteration. Chimity's still hurt and the Dom out.
I don't think he
Seems
knows
like
what
it could be
alliteration
3 months. I mean, Beto is literally the only option, which is scary to say because it's Beto. We need to make a signing this January for certain. We try to get that winger from Leon Nuama. It seems like that deal is no longer going through, that they're going to hold on to him to the rest of the season. So we need some reinforcements, but Moyes did it all with the current squad in this game. We didn't create really anything except for the one penalty, which is a bit fortunate, I will say. There's a coming together, but then the Brighton player swats the ball, so we get the pen. Yeah, I say it's intentional enough to get the pen, but it could have been a foul there. Who knows? We'll take the call all day. And then we sat back. You said we saw the game out in the second half. That's definitely an understatement. We had 6 defenders on the field at one point. The 4 who started. Shout out Jake Bryan, who's playing right back for us. 6'6" right back, just like Dan Burn at Newcastle. Crazy. Didn't play a minute, really. Maybe a few substitution appearances, but really no starts, no substantial minutes until Moyes came. He started both games back to back over there on the right flank. Put a good shift, and then saw it out in a 6-back system there at the end. Another injury with Magala going down. We finished the game with 10 men because we were out of substitutions. So it speaks to the grit, speaks to how he has the guys playing. And Diaye is the difference maker on the end of the day. That's been true all season, up to 5 goals. We're going to need signings, but he definitely has his team humming. James Garner came back, which is good to see. Definitely positive. I said when he came in, I wanted 4 points out of the next 3 games. That was my minimum. He shattered that with 6. Looked really great against Tottenham. Did just enough here against Brighton. But points away and wins away are going to be hard to come by for Everton. And they're massive when we get them. Serves us well going forward.
Yeah, I mean, massive points kind of gives us that breathing room finally for I think
just
the first
a bit
time this season, really, just enough to slightly breathe here. And our next game is against who you see right below us on the table, Leicester City. So it's a 6-point game here. Is it at this point fair to expect 3 points out of this Everton side against Leicester City? I know we're only 1 above them in the table, but I'd like to think that we've been playing one obviously a lot better in these last couple of games, but also Leicester City have been playing pretty bad all season. And I think for me, at least, I don't want to see David Moyes sit back if we do get the lead against them. I think for Tottenham and Brighton, it's a little bit more understandable, but against Leicester, I don't want to sit back and allow them a chance.
I think a minimum, we need a tie here. We're definitely better than Leicester. Defensively, they're a mess. They could see goals really, really easily. They're fine going forward. It's going to be tough for us to score. I mean, so strapped on attacking options. We got Decore and Diaye and Beto. So unless Ndiaye scores a solo goal, probably not going to get one. Going to have to rely on corner kicks, set pieces. But defensively, we should be strong enough to see this one out, not concede. I'm pretty optimistic. It's home at Goodison, so that always serves us well.
Yep, should be a mass one to keep an eye on.
Probably
there.
Just jinxed us. Jamie Vardy will probably score a hattie, but I'm hoping for the opposite.
I don't know. Maybe he used up all his ownership of
shithousery
of teams against the Tottenham Hotspur fans, pointing at the champions of the Premier League patch once again against them. What a man that Jamie Vardy is. Let's get into the City Arsenal match a little bit here, Mike. From an outsider's view, not an Arsenal fan, not a City fan, who do you expect in this one? Because I think Man City's had a horrible season for their standards, but it's kind of been a season where everybody's had their runs. I mean, you look at Bournemouth now making this crazy run. You have Newcastle kind of making a run back up. Chelsea kind of going the opposite way. It's been just a game of runs, and now City find themselves right there with Arsenal, really, if they win this game. Who do you see being the favorite in this one? Who should be the favorite in this one?
It's a tough one. Let me see. Where's this game at? It's at the Emirates. Yeah, it's tough. City's definitely creeping back into some form. They looked pretty good this weekend. Handled Chelsea really, and Chelsea haven't been great of late, but they've been a strong team all year, and City really dominated them for the most part. A lot of guys are back in form. Phil Foden, 7 goals in 7 games now, so definitely turning back up when he was really absent the entirety of the first 2/3 of the season. Omar Marmoush in there as well. He looked pretty damn good in his debut. Had a phenomenal first half of the season over there in the Bundesliga. So that's a strong addition. And then defense is still a bit of a mess. They look like they don't have any structure without Ruben Dias. I think he's still hurt. And that Kushinov guy definitely was not ready to start in this Chelsea game. Had a huge blunder there early. So
Yeah.
I give Arsenal the advantage just based on the defense, and City still does not have a defensive mid because I think it's going to be a gritty one. We've seen in the last couple of matchups, not a whole lot of attack, not a whole lot of goals going in. Arsenal obviously still struggling to score. KG1, I think like a 1-0 or a 1-1 draw.
At the Emirates?
I don't see that many goals in this one either way. I think, like you said, 1-0, 1-1 either way. It's going to be an interesting one here. But I guess the thought is, if Man City wins, is Arsenal's title charge just kind of done at that point? And if they win against City, does that maybe prove that, no, they are still in this, Nick? Yeah, how much does weigh on this game here?
I would say yes to both. I would say yes to both. I'm hesitant to put Arsenal in a title race. We're 6 points off and a game off as well. But with David Moyes at the helm now, I'm sure it's just 6 points off and even. But yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that Man City have been the boogeyman of Arsenal these past 2 years. In fact, I think they've talked a lot of shit towards Arsenal these past 2 years and backed it up pretty well. So I do think it proves a lot. I'm hesitant to say that Man City gets back in it themselves if they get the win. I don't think it means as much to them, but to Arsenal, whatever the result is, it means a lot to them. And I think a draw is as good as a loss, if we're being honest. I don't think that changes that much. So, I mean, it's going to be Havertz, Martinelli, and probably Trossard or Nwaneri. Hopefully Odegaard's back. He obviously missed the weekend. We all know the impact he has on this team. You can't be down him and Saka. That's just fucked. So maybe Nwaneri. Maybe Nwaneri. I do feel good about Saliba and Gabriel versus Haaland. I know he scored on us before, but I like that. If there's any partnership in the world that can do it, it's them. Marmoush is a bit interesting. I think Trace is right. He looked electric and offers more finishing from that wing spot than I think they've had for a while. So we'll see what happens really there. I think he's going to be the X factor. I'm calling it 1-1. I see the spoils being shared. A win here for Arsenal, I do think, puts them back in the title race. But obviously Liverpool have a chokehold. So puts them in the rearview mirror, but pretty distant.
Yeah, definitely big time game in terms of title race. And if Liverpool's feeling awfully confident, or if they're maybe still looking over their shoulder down the stretch here. Boys, time for 20 questions with the boys. The rules are pretty simple. Mike's thinking of a player right now. It has to be somebody that he's been able to watch that we'd be able to conjure up in our own minds. If we guess it within our 20 guesses, me and Nick will both get 1 point on our Lock of the Week competition. If we do not, Mike gets 2. Nick, do the honors of asking that first question.
Do it.
Okay. Well, I feel like we had some shit last week about wasting too many questions on position. I think the position's important, so I'm going to start there. Is this person a midfielder?
No.
Okay.
Is this player an attacker?
No.
All right.
Is this player a defender?
No.
Fucking
we're looking at a goalkeeper. Oh, God. Are they currently playing in the Premier League?
Yes.
They have to be currently playing. Did he say in the Premier League? Is that what you said?
In the
That's what
Premier
he
League,
said.
yeah.
No,
Oh,
Okay.
they're
So
not
no, not
currently in
currently
the
playing.
Premier League.
not in the Premier League. Nope.
Okay.
Is the club that they're most known for in their career from the Premier League?
No.
Oh,
Interesting.
are they European?
No.
Is it Claudio Bravo?
No.
All right, so it's a goalkeeper, not known from the Premier League, not
Not
European.
European. African? He could be African.
Um,
Currently playing.
currently
You're up.
playing. Are they? Are they playing in Europe?
No.
Like in a European league? No.
No.
Oh.
Is this person more known for their international career as opposed to their club career?
No.
Interesting. He had to think about it though. So I would guess a prominent international career.
Hmm.
Is
Are
that
they American?
No.
you thinking Guzan? I was thinking Guzan.
I was thinking like Ethan Horvath or some crazy shit.
um, he said no to American, right? How many questions is that? Do we have a count?
That was your 10th question. You're on 11 now.
All right.
All right, fuck, lock in.
I feel like we're kind of close. It's goalkeepers that aren't playing in Europe, did not
And
play in the
they're
Premier League.
so he might have, but that's not what they're known
not
for.
known. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think
Let us
that's
know
a good way.
in the comments if you know at this point.
Yeah, so I think that's a good way to narrow it down, though. Is the club that they're most known for in La Liga?
Yes.
Mm.
Claudio Bravo? Fuck you! It's Claudio Bravo. I know it is.
Who's come back?
Who's come back? Oh, bro! It's who? Oh no, it's not Lloris. Fuck, I was about to say Lloris.
Where's Ospina now, Nick? He's in
Last
Saudi,
I
is
heard
he?
he was in Saudi. Yeah, that's the last I heard.
That's not.
He might be in Colombia. Actually, he might have gone back.
I mean, it could be.
Mike's figuring out
Inside,
Saudi's
no?
not in Europe.
But he wasn't. He wasn't. I'd say he was more
Saudi is not
prominent for
Europe.
Colombia than he was for any club. Right.
Yeah, but he did
I would-
pause. Yeah, you know.
I mean, he was a backup at Arsenal. I'd say that's his biggest.
All right, let's rip a question. Is it your turn?
No, I think it's
Yep.
you, right?
This is Nick's.
Oh, it's me?
Oh, it's
Oh
me.
shit, my bad. Are they? I don't think this nails it down. Do they play in the MLS?
No.
Is it not a top 5 league in
Oh,
Europe?
man.
What was your question about Europe? Does he play in Europe, right? That was the question?
He doesn't play in Europe.
Flags
Okay,
question
not
when
in
he's
Europe.
ready.
Yeah.
Man.
I really don't know. From La Liga, think
I'm
of
gonna
La
start
Liga
timing you
goalkeeper.
guys on these
Liga.
questions.
Oh, shut the hell up, bro. You guys took so long last week. We're ripping through this.
Is he in
think
South
of-
America?
Yes.
Like the league? Is he from South America or the league? Is what I'm saying. The league.
I answered your question.
Yeah, no, you didn't, because you're not fucking clarifying.
I only answer yes or no questions.
I said, is he playing in the South American League? And before I said league, you said yes. Yes. All right.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to assume he's playing in the South American League. Think like Boca Juniors, River Plate.
Is it
One of those teams.
Oh, I think I know what it is. Is he most known? Is he also very well known for playing on a French team?
Oui.
I fucking got him. You know who it is. Mike.
Wait, who is it?
Oh, buddy, come on.
Oh,
La Liga.
You got to make it play by himself then.
No.
You,
Good point,
you got
motherfucker.
Nick. You guess it on the 20th. Let Flex
Okay,
struggle.
I'll guess on my last one. Fine.
Wait, what?
La Liga and French goalkeeper that plays currently somewhere probably in Latin America. Come on,
Question
buddy.
15. You got plenty of questions, Flex.
I don't know. How do I not know? La Liga and Liga?
Uh-huh.
Lagoon.
Lagoon. Oui.
Vivi.
I want to say like Steve Mandanda, but I know it's not it. But
That
that's
is
just
incorrect.
the first goalkeeper. The first goalkeeper that comes
Nick,
to
it's
mind
your
when I think
question.
of. That was counted as a question.
You said the name.
That's
We already have it.
what?
We already have it in the bag flag. So take your time. Think how much?
Wait,
What's that?
say it.
16?
We're on a time crunch, so I think you just say it.
No, I have 15 minutes. We're fine. You have 3 guesses. Just guess 3 players. You got this. You should be able to get it from this. Can I give him one more hint?
No, but you can give me another hint. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, he is not that big, like stature wise.
Not that big.
Fire him off. 3 names.
Also,
Nick
you,
Romano.
Who'd you say?
Nick Romano.
No, he's American, bro. What the fuck?
I know.
Considering your main team that you support, you should know this player very well.
What?
But he's not American. Come on, brother.
Bro, I have no fucking idea.
You're gonna
Just
be
say the
embarrassed.
name. All right, say the
You're
name.
gonna
Mike, is it Keylor Navas?
It is Keylor Navas.
No.
You idiot.
I don't feel that embarrassed. I don't really
You
care.
should, bro. Are you kidding me?
As of,
I feel like-
I believe yesterday, Keylor Navas plays for Newell's Old Boys, Messi's
Really?
club. Yeah, in
Oh, good for
Argentina.
him. Good for him.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Wow.
It's a solid
What a
pull.
guy.
I'd say
The
that's
Costa
a
Rican-
good.
Legend, played for Real Madrid and PSG, so Nick was right on being known for 2 massive clubs.
See-
Also played in the Premier League on loan at Nottingham Forest.
Yes, he
Believe during
did.
their first season, they were promoted
Yes,
up.
he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah, legend of the game for sure. Legend of American,
I understand
Central
the
American
pause
soccer.
on the international thing because
Yeah.
he's kind of
Really hugely known for Costa Rica, and they had that major run in 2014.
Yeah.
But
But
I
also
feel like
Costa Rica. Yeah.
you play at Madrid
He's
for
also
that
a
long.
backup for
You're
so
kind of a
much.
club. You're a club legend as well. Yeah, but he was
behind
also the
Courtois,
starter
behind
for a number of
Gigi
seasons.
Buffon,
And
or
PSG.
Gigi
And PSG.
Donnarumma. He was the
Yeah,
I
backup
would
there.
say
He's
he
a
had like
starter
at
a lot
least
of his career.
I would say he had at least 3 really good years at Real.
Yeah.
At least.
He won Champions
Yeah.
Leagues. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
they all did.
yeah. You're a dog.
Leave
You're
you
winning.
alone. All
So
right,
did Danny
that is,
Ceballos.
another point
Shout
for
out Danny
the
Ceballos.
guessers on Lock of the Week. Palmer, you can add those points and we'll go through our predictions. And we'll start with Mike, who's in the lead, but that lead is diminishing.
I don't think I added 2
Well
to
done. Well done, guys.
You did.
You did last
add
time.
last
You
time.
I
did.
did?
Definitely.
Okay, so
Yeah,
now-
definitely.
Yeah. So he's at 12. I don't know why he's
Yeah,
at
alright.
2.
I don't either, but
Well done.
So Mike is at 12. I'm up to 11.
I had a harder
Nick at
name.
10.
Whose other
Like the
name?
That
Easier one
was-
for you guys.
Yeah, I'm not
Who's
going to
other
lie.
name?
Keep it for another
Mike,
one,
you're-
or should I? Should I keep it?
We
or
might
should I tell you?
do this again in the summer. We might do this again in the summer when things are slow, maybe.
I'll just tell you. It was Asmir Begovic.
Oh, fuck. On Everton?
right.
Yep.
That is a pull. That is something.
I do
That's
remember him getting
goalkeepers.
heated this
A
weekend.
big goalkeeper.
He did.
Guy.
He did. I wanted to go Keylor Navas though because I don't know, pertinent and
No.
why the fuck not? I want you guys.
No,
to
I
get it
think-
eventually.
I think that's a solid one. I think Negredo was a little harder. So I think
Negredo
that's-
was crazy. That was something.
That's a deep one. Yeah.
Yeah, deep cut. Mike,
My
what
other
is your
option was
lock of the week?
Talisca from Al Nassr, so that would be a little weird too.
Yeah, that's.
I would not have an
Yeah,
No.
yeah. I was like, that's not fun.
Anderson Talisca, bro. Yeah, right.
Yep. My
know what
lock of
teams
the
he did
week. He just transferred somewhere. Newcastle 3, Fulham 1. Newcastle's hot. probably
Very
the hottest
hot.
team in the league. Isak is
Other than
on
Liverpool.
absolute fire. Tonali is on fire. That whole team's on fire. And Fulham are in
Yeah.
a little bit of a dip. If you're losing to Manchester United, you're not that good, son. So I expect Newcastle to win.
Yeah, that's an awfully tough one there. Nick, what is your lock of the week here?
Yeah, I got to pick first, and I don't even love. I mean, I have one win in the last 5, but West Ham's been awful too. So I'll take Chelsea 2-1 over West Ham. London derby, so difficult one to predict there, but talent I think leans Chelsea's way heavily.
Graham Potter's got them boys humming.
Grandpa.
Does he?
Is that the way, lad?
I mean, he's in there, and Enzo Maresca having Chelsea on a bit of a decline. Only one win in their last 5, I believe.
Graham Potter revenge game. Fuck, I didn't even think of that.
Revenge game. You didn't even
Yeah.
calculate that in. Boys,
Damn
you know
it,
what I've
bro.
done? I have locked in an Everton win 2-1 over
Attaboy.
Leicester. Leicester is
Fuck.
not in relegation zone. Everton is not in relegation zone. God damn
Why
it. It
not?
feels good to
Take
pick them. Feels good to back the boys, the Toffs here. Please, God, make that not be a jinx
Damn.
on my own team.
I bitched out last week. I went Everton tie with Brighton. I should have had more faith.
Yeah, you didn't believe in Moisey. But
Did not.
now the faith is there. He's earned that. Boys, let's get into the U.S. men's national team corner. We have a lot to talk about with the U.S. team. We just finished our U.S. men's national team January camp cupcake, as some say. But overall, thoughts on this camp? I mean, usually on paper, we're a better side, and we don't really play that great against these other sides that also aren't that great, kind of B teams of random nations. This time we played awfully well, kind of showed the levels. Don't think there's that many players that maybe stood out, but Mike, were there some? How many do you think make it? I think maybe a Luna, Guti, Kramashi, Jack McGlynn, maybe. I mean, who even has a shout at making the real team? Who do you want to at least see in a camp for the real team?
Luna for sure is the one standout. Could definitely see being in a camp. Jack McGlynn showed some glimpses. So did Kramashi. And then
Crowded,
the one
though.
forward, I can't. Yeah, it is crowded. The one forward, he scored a few goals. I don't know how to say his
Patrick
name.
Achiman?
Achiman. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
It's a tall task to break into the squad for anybody.
He's a tall
but
man.
Scoring goals, that does show something. Potts will definitely remember that if our guys are in bad form or there's limited selection. You get your
Injuries.
name in there. Yeah, injuries are real. We have so many injuries, especially in that striker pool. Much of those guys can't stay healthy. Luna for sure. The rest of the guys, though, they're definitely a ways off. Even McGlynn and Kramashi, who show glimpses, like Dick said, so competitive, and the dudes who are above them by a wide margin at the moment.
Yeah, a broken nose for Diego Luna. Pochettino says he has big balls. I mean, you'd think a senior national team camp has got to come up for somebody doing that.
I would
creating
say-
assists.
Cojones.
One thing I would say off of it, and again, I was not as locked into this camp, so I could be wrong. But one, I think you're right. Luna, I mean, look at our wings. Put Luna out there, give him a shot. At least on the bench, he can come in and change the game. Hopefully, I don't know. I don't see any reason why not. And it seems like Poch is a fan, like you said. I will say, like we talked about it going into camp, there were some more heavily capped guys in the center back position. Not, I don't think our backline ever became too threatened, so I don't really have too many judgments on either of those guys. Obviously, the competition wasn't amazing, but neither was our roster selection. I think one thing it does point to is maybe, in Poch's new system, this backline just gets threatened a little bit more. You know what I mean? I think with more possession base and recycling the ball and kind of the things you're trying to implement, maybe a weak spot, he can be able to kind of paper that over a little bit and cover up some holes, which is what good managers do. He doesn't have other center backs to pick from. I know Flags has a list of 17, 18-year-olds that can be the next center back of the future. But in reality, like those guys aren't ready.
Bookmark that thought. Bookmark that thought.
Those guys aren't ready at the moment and are unlikely to be ready next year. So it's encouraging to me that even against weak competition, our defensive structure in general didn't seem too threatened. And again, I wasn't as locked in, 90 minutes watching the games, mostly highlights for me, but still, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you watched previous January camps, on paper, like I said, the U.S. were better against like the Serbian B team and like Colombian C team and all those teams that they were playing in January camps. They were better than those teams, but it wasn't necessarily showing up. It was maybe a 1-0 win, a draw. It was, I mean, it looked like shit, and you're like, oh well, the players aren't that great, but now it does just look good, and you can see that there's people that are levels above others, but I think one of the issues we talked about was the US is so much better on paper, and it's a shame that these games aren't played on paper. Now they're actually kind of playing them up to their talent level, and we're seeing that even in this January camp. I think that's very good to see. Now, obviously, like what you said, want to see these people with the real camp. And our real camp players are still showing up over there in Europe, going over to Milan, as always, going over to Milan. Christian Pulisic extended his 100% penalty record with another penalty in their game against Parma. He's 12 for 12 now. Musa then added in a crazy assist through the midfield into Tijani Reinders to tie it up before they eventually get a win, 2 goals in stoppage time for AC Milan to beat Parma. I mean, Milan, they're comeback kids. That's kind of what they do. They go down and then come roaring back with goals. Tyler Adams, 2 assists. The first assist was just Kluivert being insane,
God
just
mode.
dribbling at 50 yards and then a shot from outside the box. But second one was
defense.
pretty good. Gets 2 assists. Only American to have 3 assists in a 2-game window as a CDM. I mean, that's impressive no matter what those assists are. So he's doing all right.
What a stat, dude.
What a stat. 3 assists in 2 games. That's not too bad. That's not too bad.
That's pretty good.
With this being said, Musa obviously looking all right. Weston McKennie has been doing great for Juventus, albeit at every position on the field. Tyler Adams is
Awesome.
doing amazing for Bournemouth, and Bournemouth themselves are doing amazing. Is that trio locked in? I know, we can mess around with MMA and if Musa's out wide right or anything else, but are those 3 locked, you think, in somewhere in that mix of the midfield?
When they've been available, they've always been locked for me. I think the best games we've seen with this team have been when those guys are all together. They complement each other well. They play to each other's strengths. Yes, we don't get to play with a true 10 when we play those 3 together, but they provide so much lockdown. They kill in transition. I think when we play bigger teams, it has to be those guys.
Yeah. I wonder if you can make some room for a 10 and put Musa in that wide mid role because he already just slots in so much. But man, these 3 are just, if you're talking about any midfielder trying to crack into this team right now, it's going to be pretty fucking tough with these guys all being healthy and in form. Speaking of cracking into the team, going to a spot that is not necessarily the healthiest or not the most informed is center back. Luckily, as Nick said, I know all the young center back prospects coming up, and this one is, for a long time, been the number one. Nokai Banks at Augsburg got the start. He had a few sub appearances in the last 3 games. Gets the start here due to some injuries and suspensions. Gets the start and gets man of the match, and he is looking very good for Augsburg. One of their defenders is now being loaned out, so potentially a sign of confidence in continuing to play him even more, but insanely talented on the ball, dribbles it into the opposition half a lot, is no issue with keeping the ball on his feet and making the passes, distributing out of the back. So it'll be nice to see not a Cameron Carter-Vickers type getting a little nervous on the ball. But certainly one to watch. One fun fact, also extremely depressing fact, Nokai Banks now has more minutes in the Bundesliga than one certain Giovanni Reina. So
wow,
not looking great for Gio Reyna, but looking awfully great for Noah Banks. Also, over there in Spain right now, Cavan Sullivan in MLS preseason got the start for Philadelphia Union in a 1-0 win against Danish side. Starts for Philadelphia Union and comes out with a quote saying his goal for the year is to make the 2026 World Cup roster. What does he have to do? What does he have to? Big ball. Hey, Pochettino loves the big balls. But
same haircut, pretty much.
What would you have to see from Cavan Sullivan for him to get into this current roster? We're talking about Diego Luna, Malc Tillman, Gio Reyna. A lot of 10s. Might be in as a winger, I guess you could put him in as. But what does he have to do to actually be in that legitimate conversation for you, Nick?
What does he have to do? I don't know. Number one thing, he has to show he's physically mature enough to be able to compete against the big boys, which, based off this start, hopefully he gets that chance and is able to at least play against men. Because, at this point, he's played against children his entire career. How can you say World Cup's your...
Well, he did play against...
He's playing against boys.
He was in the second division last season, so he was playing against...
Yeah, but, second division MLS is
different. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
So, that's an interesting one. Obviously, we have some MLS players on the current, projected roster, I would say, but you'd have to prove a lot. I guess my question is, because even if he comes on the roster, I can't envision a single scenario. I really can't. And he could, I guess if he leads the league in scoring, maybe, but even then, I don't think he'd start. So the real question is, do you bring in the young kid who, if he shows all this promise and really does seem to be the future of the men's national team, do you bring him for the experience and just let him hold bench and give him 5 minutes at the end of a win in the group stage? Like, is that what you do? I could somewhat envision that, but he's got his first preseason start for an MLS team. To say that you want to be on the 2026 World Cup roster is quite the statement, which I like, by the way. I think it shows great mentality. Yeah,
gotta have that.
It's, to be, what is he, 15, be saying shit like that? That's, think about a 15-year-old saying that. That's insane. So good for him. And if he does, I'm officially obviously going to buy into the hype. So all the power to him. Do I think it's going to happen? 0.01% is where I'm at. Even if he does prove to be, really good and have 10 goal contributions in MLS, he still doesn't deserve it over other guys, in my opinion. So we will see, but that would be very good news for this podcast. I'll tell you that much.
Very good news. We had that level of a wonder boy going to a World Cup. I think, honestly, he is insanely good. And the conversation a year ago is he going to be good enough to make the U20 World Cup roster? I think he's maybe a little bit past that now, where he is kind of talking about if he is breaking through with Philadelphia Union. Is it more of a senior camp thing? But I think, there has to be some injuries if he's getting in, because I don't think that if fully fit Gio Reyna and Malc Tillman are in there, that's 2 10s. How many 10s are you bringing? If
you play him on the wing, that's the only way.
Yeah.
Does he get in if those two are hurt?
If those two are hurt, shit, that opens the conversation.
And no, you don't. Stop it.
It opens the conversation. Listen, this is all extremely hypothetical. That he plays a lot in MLS and does very well. But if he does play in the MLS and does very well, then you'd be like, okay, he can play. And holy shit, the marketing that Fox would love to have for their World Cup, having
it's a high school sophomore
All-American. Yeah, I know, it's crazy to think about.
Well,
what?
You would have to do the Lamine Yamal, man. Like, that's what he would have to do to make the squad. You'd have to break out.
You'd have to do Lamine Yamal.
Yeah. Yamal, he literally did that, though. He broke it at Barcelona and then made the Spain squad and was their best player in a matter of a year. That was insane. But he was a year older than Cavan Sullivan will be. That makes a little bit of a difference. At this age, a whole year is massive. I wouldn't completely rule it out. I would say it's really, really low odds. He just doesn't have enough time. Even if he is the best player at his age group by the time he reaches 16 or whatever, it won't be enough because it won't be enough time.
Yeah. I mean, he'll be 16. I think you more so look at he'll be 20 at the 2030 World Cup, and then you'll have an older Pulisic.
And hopefully at 20, he's a shoo-in. Hopefully he is the best player at that point.
Yeah. I mean, insane player. The odds of it, awfully low, but fuck, I love that confidence to just say, yeah, that's my goal. Because that's crazy to say as a 15-year-old.
We get an expanded roster.
The World Cup.
Maybe, man. Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, listen, we will certainly see if he breaks out this MLS season. Certainly a lot of hype around him. I don't want them to just throw him in there and Freddie Adu him, put too much on him and ruin his talent. So I think they're probably thinking a little bit more long term here. Boys, so final thoughts here. Closing out US Men's National Team corner and going into the weekend of a Leicester-Everton big matchup and Manchester City Arsenal big matchup. Mike, you first.
Pumped. It's going to be a good week. I think we should get the result coming off some success here, but still need to make some signings. Need at least 2 signings this window. It's going to be really hard to compete otherwise. Shout out the boys. Nick?
1-0 to the Arsenal. You heard it here first. Back in the title race. Let's go, baby. Up the Gunners.
Let's go up the Gunners, up the Toffees. Big weekend ahead for the boys. Big weekend it was this time. Let's double it up. Double or nothing. Hopefully not nothing. But until next time, peace.
Peace, yo.
Just double. Peace.
Lamine Yamal. Cavan Sullivan.
Lamine Yamal.
Cavan Sullivan, bro. He's 15.
Just keep saying those 2 names.
What about Quinn Sullivan? Quinn Sullivan could make the roster. That guy's a dog.
Guy. He scored. He was the one that scored in their preseason game.
No shit.
Just saying.